Hello, hello, hello. Crafty Chris here for another Thursday night Scrap Your Scraps. Tonight we are making a baby card. I have been blessed to have a great nephew born on June 29th, and I'm so excited. I need to send a card because they don't live near me, unfortunately. So what I did just to get ready for tonight is I know that I'm using stamps and dies and some pre-colored paper. And so I pulled together my little mini sidekick. I have my memento black die. I pulled together some stamps that are baby related stamps. I know that I am going to be stamping these guys onto color paper or white paper, depending, I don't know yet. And then these guys are all flat stamps, so they are going to be stamped using oxides onto some white paper. So I have my oxides handy. Do I know what color yet? No, because we're just getting started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some strips off the edge of this, and then the rest is going to go back into my stash. And I want to cut the strips a little bit wonky. I don't want to use more than 2 inches of each. So once I get to 2 inches of each, then I have to stop. So these all seem to be about the same size. And I'm just going to put them all in a stack inside my cutter. And I'm just going to start, I should maybe start cutting. You know what? I'm going to take the 2 inches off right off the bat. There we go. This is going to go into my stash. And now I'm just realizing that to be on the safe side, I have 4 papers. I'm going to do them in sets of 2. So we are going to have some wonky strips. So just tilting them to the side here and getting wonkiness out of them. Some are the full length, some are only a partial length. And some are going to be just straight. So now we have our background strips, and they are going to cover our card base. I am going to start to play with my strips. Now, I'm going to separate them into the different groups because I want to make sure that I am utilizing all of them. First thing I'm going to start off with is one strip like this right along the edge. So we're going to want to, I'm going to glue it down, and I'm going to have to trim them because they're a little bit longer than I need, because this is a straight edge. That will start us nicely on this edge. We want to have a little piece because we have a little piece that's missing here. So where are our little pieces? Here's a partial piece. I can fit that one in there. Sure. Let's do that one. And the idea is to manipulate the pieces. Whoops, you cannot see me, so let me lift this up here. So I'm putting this piece in here, and I overlapped it because it's not quite straight, and I have a little bit down here that I'll play with afterwards. Let's put a bigger piece in here, just making it fun and wonky. I'm just lining up the edges of the pieces with the edges of the cut pieces. There we go. And we're getting all kinds of wonkiness happening. Here we go. I'm going to use this guy. Wait a minute. I haven't used any of this guy. So let's see what we have here. I have used this guide. This is the guy I haven't used. And I do want a different color at the top. There we go. Put in some blue and purple. So we have all the angles going mix mashed together. There we go. Do I want that one? Or maybe I'll take this little one. I'm looking at them with my eyes. There's no method to what's going on here. I'm just plowing them in where I think I would like to see them. But you can see how funky this is becoming. I'm going to leave that piece because I may need that later. That's too much of that guy. And I could use the back sides of these too because these papers are quite pretty. And see how you just don't really know how they're all going to play out until you get them on the paper. And now I almost have a straight edge here. And how would I like to finish it off? Because that's really what it's more about here. Because I could finish it off with that, and any one of these could be jammed up inside there. But let's see. Or I could finish it off with another one of these guys and then jam a piece up there. Maybe I'll do that because I like the idea of it being framed. I know I'm going to trim some of this, so I want to make sure that I am putting an equal amount from top to bottom on the back here. And the only way to really know is to turn it upside down so you can see the little, I have a 1/16 of an inch there, so I know this is lined up. And now I need to fill a piece in there. Now this one is tall and skinny, but it may not be tall and skinny enough. So this one looks to me like it will fit nicely, but I need to trim it down. So what I've done is I've laid it along one edge here and got it right up into the corner. So it's resting right along the edge of this piece here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over and it will tell me how wide I need to go down to. So on the back side, I'm putting a line. And now I'm going to get my trimmer and cut this line right off to nothing. Or I'm going to try, because sometimes those don't work absolutely perfectly. So it's this side I need to trim. I need my trimming to happen there and it to go off to nothing. So you know what I'm going to do, folks? I am going to tape this just to make sure that I don't run into a problem. So I'm going to have tape down the center. This is on the back side. And I'm going to have tape at the tip. And then I'm going to hold it with my finger at the other part. So the first thing I'm going to do is get these guys, whoops, underneath. And I'm going to line up my cut line. Okay, I think that might be what I need. All right, it's a very skinny little piece. And you have to play getting it off because now you got tape on there. There we go. All right, let's see if I did that. If it's going to work. Might be a little tricky. Gonna dry fit it first. Let's turn it right upside down again. Whoa. It just fits in there. That's amazing. Okay. Very proud of myself on that one. We're going to glue it right up to the very tip because the tip has to stay in to where we place it down. There we go. We got that piece in there. Whew. Okay, now I'm going to just trim the excess off. Actually, I'm going to use my big scissors because it's easier to get all the way across. And I have some extra bits, which are awesome because I can make a second card. And I think I'll just make a birthday card out of those guys. I like them. They're very bright and cheerful. Now we have a couple of spots here and here that we need to put some tips into. So those guys are flat. That's flat. This guy is pointy, so I can steal the top end of his. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit of glue in that empty spot. All right, now this guy can be used. And then I have another one here. Yep, that will fit. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. Okay. So we are now finished with that card. So this is an awesome technique to use for a base of any fun kind of card you want to make. These guys are going to go back. Or no, they're not. I'm going to make another card base with it. All right, so here we are. We have our card base ready. Now we got to do some of the other stuff. So let's do some stamping. I'm going to do the outline stamping first. I thought I would like to stamp this on one of these papers, but I'm just wondering now if that's even going to show up. Like I could maybe do an all green one, and that might show up, or a yellow and green one, and that might show up, or a pink and green one, and that might show up. Or if I do blue and yellow, something like that. Yes, I think I'm gonna attempt it. So let's get our paper down, ready to go. And oh, I need to have something as a block. All right, I have my little guy on a block. I have a damp cloth because you need to be wiping these off afterwards. This is a newish stamp, so it doesn't look like it wants to pick up. Let's try that again. So sometimes new stamps will be a bit of a problem with a nice clean stamp. So you know what? I think I'm going to use my Distress instead, because the chalkiness of the Distress is going to stick. So let's grab my black soot. I'm going to wipe this off. Soot out. Oh yeah, much better. The chalk seems to cling a little bit better to the stamp. I just want to give it good pressure, and let's hope that this works. Oh, that worked out beautifully. And I like the black soot actually because it's not as harsh a dark color, you know, as the other black would be. It's a little grayed almost. Okay, here we go. So now we're going to cut this out. My die piece. Okay, and I'm just going to put a piece of tape there because I don't want it to shift. I don't have to go backwards, but it's just easier than me grabbing over here to pull it out. There's my little baby's thing. I might add some color. I'm not sure yet. All right, so that's that one done. Just make sure I get that nice and clean. Add a bit of water. So the baby is done. The other thing I have to do is my sentiment for the inside of the card. So I don't need to have this here, but I do need to have the card. So the sentiment that I'm putting inside is, "You will be amazing parents." And I just want to kind of put it as even as I can on here. Put you up there. And again, this is another new stamp, so I'm just wiping off some of the goo that might be left. I put some of my skin cells on there sometimes. Let's see how it all works. Looks good. I just want to be careful not to push too hard because I do have some black on here. Awesome! You will be amazing parents. So that's done. Clean this off. Nice thing is with these distress inks is that they're water soluble, so they clean up nicely. Now I want to do some stamping of color. So let's see. I want Villainous Potion to be my banner. New stamps again. This is just old card that I have. It's actually matte photo paper, so I'm not sure how it's going to take the ink, but it's an inkjet printer. So okay, so we are going to smoosh and twist and all the things, and let's put her down. Hold it for a minute just to make sure it all gets on there. Congrats! It's not as thick as I would wish. Could be partly because it is a new stamp. I could try it one more time, but I'm okay with that. So that was the title. And now I think I want to do prize ribbon for this little guy, the onesie. I'm smooshing it across, and then I tap to even out the smooshes. Give it a second to sort of set. Not the best. I think it might be the paper I'm using too. It's photo paper, so stuff sits on the top instead of getting absorbed inside the paper. But I'm okay with it. If it all looks like that, then it looks like I did it intentionally. All right, and I'm going to cut that out. Let's see. So then I have the little horse. And the little horse we're going to do in a green. Put my blue back. Just got the first round of the new colors. So crushed olive? No. Cracked pistachio? No. I think I will do crushed olive. It's intense, but we have some intense greens there, so I feel like I can get away with it. And let's just put a tiny drop of water on there. And just rub it on my skin a little bit. Okay. Come on, crushed olive. Smoosh, smoosh, smoosh. And tapping. Push that down. Not bad. I don't know, maybe I should have used a different green, but we'll go with that green. And now baby. And baby, what color do I want baby in? I think I'm going to do peacock feathers. I'm going to do them all at once, and then I'll do an extra bee. Cover them with my skin. Smoosh, tap, press. And I'll just do another bee. Your stamp makes a difference too. Nice thing about having a glass mat is that your stamps stick to it, so you can just put them down there and not lose them. And if it's metallic like this one is, you can get your dies and stick them on there too. All right, so these guys can just go to the side. That can go to this side. I think we've done everything. All right, get rid of that. The other thing that's nice about a glass mat is that it sticks, or your sidekick will stick on it. Okay, let's do these guys first because they are trickier. I feel like there should be another shaped piece because the bees are a different shape altogether. Just double check. Oh yes, there is. It's our baby. Baby. And congrats, I'm going to have to hand cut. But I can do this little guy. I wonder if I can get that guy in there too. Ooh, maybe. We can do both these guys at the same time. Oh, I've got it too close to the end there. There we go. I had to force it in. I shouldn't really do that. But everything worked. That little piece there was because it was outside of the actual cutting area. And I'm just going to take a second and do a really quick job of cutting this title, leaving a small white border because everything else has a white border. And there's our other piece. Okay, now let's put it all together. Okay, so I know that this guy is going to pop dot. So I'm going to get my 2mm pop dot stuff. I'm just going to put a piece there and a piece there. That's going to pop up on the card. Now, I'm going to do a little collage of things. Something like that. Fun little collage. Now, I'm going to do multiple layers on this. These guys are going to be popped up the most. So those are going to have 2 levels of pop dots. This is going to be popped up 1mm. This is going to be on the flat. So first let me pop dot here. That's the secondary popping. This is going to pop 2mm. So now it's going to pop 2mm on top of there, but the bottom bit, which tucks underneath, has to have an extra layer to 3mm. So let me first get the 2mm on there so that it doesn't crush down and look weird. Okay, there's 2mm on there. And then I am going to put a similar size strip of 1mm on top to make 3mm, because it is going to go down below this piece, which is already 1mm, and on top by 2mm. So 1mm and 2mm are 3mm. Oop, I didn't want to take that off. Just going to put this back on because I want to make sure we've got everything in the right direction. That can sit on there, and you see how it's 2mm on top of that one, but then for this to hit the ground, I need to shore it up with the 1 millimeter that's under there. And then the baby part of it is just gonna have 2 millimeters under. These are going to be 2 millimeters, and these are going to have 2 millimeter under at the bottom only. So here's 2 millimeter at the bottom of this one, and this is going to be glue on top of that. Another 2 millimeter here. Okay, so that's going to sit on top of that, like that. And then these are going to be 2 millimeter. So everything is popping. Actually, you know what? That's 3 millimeters, so I need to put a tiny bit more with the 1 millimeter on top in order for it to be as tall as that piece. Same with this one. There we go. And then it will sit properly. Ah, yes, beautiful. And then the top parts just get glued to our little guy. I just stick that little extra piece on my roll so I don't waste it. Okay, so I want my congrats to go up here just like that. I love that it's coming out of the purple at the side there. Now this guy, I think I need to color a little bit. So we are going to green, that'll end up brown. So I'm going to add more blue to that. I'm just going to go in with my small tip, and I'm going to color that blue. And because I used water-based ink, I will not have to worry about it bleeding because these are alcohol markers. Because your ink has to be opposite of the kind of marker that you're using. I don't know if we're even going to see this part. Let's see, what other kind of blue can I do? I'm going to do a darker green on this little strip around the middle here. All right, and I'm gonna go for purple in the bow. Not sure how it's gonna look. No, it's holding up. Just always afraid of what the color is gonna end up being when it's on top of something like green, but the green is light enough. In the shadowy part, I feel like I need to do a bit of a gray. So we're gonna do a neutral gray. See what that looks like. So the neutral gray is like making that ribbon look green inside, which I don't like. So I'm going to take a very light purple and just go in there to pull in a little bit of gray or purple. That looks good. And then I'll add some three-dimensional dots and things to it. So this is better now. Now it actually looks like a rattle. So that's going to be stuck down to the bottom. This is going to be the next one up, and then baby across the bottom. Okay, so let's just stick this one all the way down. So that's going to go there. And then we're going to take our 1 millimeter backed onesie out and have him over here. And then our 2 and 3 millimeter rocking horse is going to go right on top. And our A and our B. Just going to put a little bit of tape. I'm going to have the A here and the B. And then our 2 millimeter Y. Sort of all together. And there you have it, our basic baby card. Now I'm going to add things because I like to add things. One of the things I'm going to add is glitter and touch of glass. So on, let's see, on the congrats, I'm afraid if I wipe too hard, I might disturb the ink. So I have to be very careful because the ink will move with something liquidy going across it. It's actually blending the ink in. Interesting. So now that I've done that, I have to be careful all the way around. So we're going in and just one layer of glitter, because otherwise you're going to take the ink right off. You can see how it's darkening up that ink because I'm actually blending it when I'm using this pen. And it's going to bleed a tiny little bit, which I'm just going to have to be okay with. Okay, I had to hold my breath through that whole process. It is bleeding a tiny little bit, but it still looks okay. Here I'm going to put some sparkle on the little blue dots here. And why not go here? Now this isn't going to bleed because this is alcohol ink. Okay, and then the next thing is to touch off with little daubs of self-leveling touch of glass. Oh, I forgot to trim off that little thing. All right, now I think I'll leave that alone. So let's get some light up here so you can see. So we have our little dots and our sparkly title and our sparkly little, you know what? I think I have to do some glaze or something on there. So let me get my glaze pen. The difference between a glaze pen and like a touch of glass is that the glaze is flat. And sometimes you have to get it started. So just make sure that it's running. There we go. Before you put it on your piece. And you just put it down in little circles. And I always put 2 layers. Actually, I want to put a dot on the bow because it needs to be a little bit 3-dimensional. And I'm going to go in again. All right. So now when you're looking at it, you can see the glaze and the 3D. Awesome. I'm very pleased with this. All right. So that is it for tonight's Scrap Your Scraps. And I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please share with your friend and encourage them to subscribe to my channel for more interesting ideas to do with your scraps and your crafting. And don't forget to sign up and subscribe at the end of the video. We'll see you next week. Bye.